motion, Mr. Mayor.
Any additions, errors, or all in favor? Carried. Adoption of minutes from May 3rd. So moved. Thank you.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. May 12th, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. Motion to it.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Willis. Thank you. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. May 12th, special meeting of the council minutes. Thank you, Councilor Flynn, Councilor Willis. Errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. We do have a delegation, so I'll ask you guys to, whoever's going to speak, to come up to the mic. And I have, yeah. Yep, we don't mess around. So I have to read this preamble to you guys, and then it's each delegation shall be limited to 15-minute presentation unless a longer period is agreed on by 2/3 majority vote of council members present. The Town of Princeton Council, by resolution carried unanimously, provides an opportunity for individuals to address council as per delegations petitions with regard to items included in the agenda, excluding bylaws in which the public hearing consultation period has been held. Council reserves the right to refuse an individual to speak if that individual has spoken at previous meetings regarding an item. Individuals wishing to participate in this opportunity are required to put their name on the list, which you've done, and reference the minutes at council discretion. Anyways, there you go. They want to speak to 6.1, the zoning. I just had it here. It is the zoning amendment, or no, the DVP.
That's right, yeah.
Yep. So,
Okay.
just tell us who you are and where you live, and
Okay,
then.
we're Dale and Suzanne Stark, and we live at 110 West China Creek Road, which is actually 110 China Creek Road West. We moved here, well, actually we moved into our house. We had a new build in October of this last year, and we want to do raised gardening because the ground here is just nothing but rock. And we lived in Osoyoos for a year and a half. Prior to that, we were in Langley. And when we were in Osoyoos, we did a lot of walking around because we were just renting with in-laws. And we noticed the deer easily jumping over a 6-foot fence.
We saw them.
Yep, and actually break a leg.
Oh, and two of them, the smaller ones,
Mm-hmm.
get caught in a 6-foot fence.
Yeah,
I don't know if they die, but they're wriggling.
Yeah.
And
and we'd
It's not
rather,
good.
and we'd rather avoid, hurting the wildlife because, as you know, living here, there's deer everywhere. And so we don't mind them coming in the rest of the yard, but when it comes to vegetable gardening and some fruit trees, they'll be right there.
they are already.
Yeah,
in our
and
backyard.
we notice as we walk around town, we're just up the hill there from the elementary school, and they have that community garden. And I spoke to one of the gals, Marilyn, and they have an 8-foot fence there. They've never had an issue. Pat, the massage therapist in town, she also went through the Board of Variance, but she actually got hers totally, the 8-foot fence. But we only want the back portion because it's not.
Behind the garage.
Yeah, it's not looking
Back
bad
end of
to the neighbors or anything, because our next door neighbor to the north, they just have a workshop and just, his boat and whatever in the back, so that shouldn't, look ugly to them. And then our next door neighbor, he's selling the lot, so he's already
It's
bought a
it's
house in
barrel,
town.
yeah.
So,
And it's also galvanized, not black.
yeah,
Black sticks out, sorry.
yeah, our house is kind of on the grayish side, so we're choosing
It's
gray.
the back,
Yeah,
maybe the back
yeah,
third of the yard, not even that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just our,
Behind the front yard,
our
behind the
plea.
house, behind the garage, just for garden.
Yeah. So that's our plea,
And it'll be on our property. We're not
Yeah.
going on the property line.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I did take a drive up there the other day and take
Yeah.
a look, so.
Oh, okay.
Yes, what I didn't understand, Mark explained to me, it sounded like you were just requesting a certain portion of your fencing. And I thought, well, what use is having 10 feet here, 10 feet here, and then 6 feet over here?
Oh, no, just a square. Here's the,
There's a picture of it.
here's the garage, the backyard, the house. It's just
Yeah,
the square where the garden is, yeah.
yeah, it's just in the back, that's it.
That's all I was,
Yeah,
didn't seem
yeah.
like much sense having it all
Yeah.
10 feet, you're gonna make sure that they're not in there
yeah.
No, it's
No.
8 foot high.
8 foot, yeah,
that's
not
plenty.
10 foot, 8
Yeah.
foot.
8 foot.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sorry,
that's okay.
I'll get something right.
That's okay.
It's the heat. We'll blame it on the heat today. Anybody else? Questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So
Should we remain or can we go?
Or what do you want to say?
it's up to you. If you want to, if you want to stay, you
Okay.
can. If
We
you
go
don't,
stay and you talk
we-
about it? Oh, okay.
we will.
Since I have the mic, I'd like to add, I lived here before, in 1955, the olden days.
Yeah.
And my dad was up at the airport. This was a major center. Before, what do they call it now, global positioning? This was a radio range
Yep.
station where they tracked the planes. And so, it goes way back. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
There's still a tower up on that way. Okay. Thank you. With that, we will go to 6.1, the development variance permit for 110 West China Creek Road. Mark.
Thank you. Yeah, not much more to add than what you just heard. It is a low-density residential neighborhood. The area being fenced is at the rear of the property. The fencing regulations speak to maintaining that front yard appeal, and certainly this is deemed to not affect that in any way, shape, or form. So it's 6 foot up to 8 foot variance for the rear portion.
Anybody have a question? Of,
So moved.
thank you. Moved by Councilor McLean,
So second, Mr. Mayor.
second by Councilor Willis. Any last questions? All in favor?
Pretty straightforward.
There you go. There you go. Yep. Yeah. We will. Do we send a letter or something officially? So Mark will be in contact with you. But yeah.
Have a good day.
6.2 is vehicle access tenure over Crown land. Who wants to talk about that? Carrie can. Okay, Carrie.
So we received a license of occupation for the tunnel down in the tunnel area. It's for 15-year term. There is a maintenance agreement also attached to it. Just let me find it here. Leave them here, I promise. It outlines some of the requirements of the town. Sorry. It is exactly the same one. It expired in 2018, and so we've just received this from them to renew it.
Okay.
They've given it a new number, and outlined in the management plan is 9 items. It's no different than what we were required before.
Why would they wait so long to make us do anything?
I don't know.
Just slip through.
It's just the way it is. I used to phone them like months before they would expire. and
So this
ask
is
them to
same
renew it.
same size. There's no change in the.
No change in the size.
Because we have a pretty unique license prior to this, so we'd want to make sure we keep that same license. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I used to phone them and send them letters, and they just used to tell me they'll get to them when they get to them, and so that's what we're doing now, so.
Any other questions? Motion to.
Small move, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Willis will make the recommended motion. Councillor McLean will second it. Last chance for comments. All in favor? Thanks. It's carried. Council reports. Since it was your turn last, you get to go first. That means you got to make the next motion.
I tried and tried, and other than our committee of the whole meeting and special meetings, I have been busy starting to cope with the weather. So I wasn't involved in a lot of municipal takings.
Fair enough. Councillor Willis.
Yeah, other than the committee of the holes and the special meetings, I have nothing to report.
Okay. Let's see. What have I been involved in here. Okay, on the weekend of the 4th, 5th, 6th of May, I went to Kamloops for the Interior Logging Association AGM, where a longtime resident, Dennis Cook, was given lifetime membership. It was nice to see a local person get recognized. Also had a few chats with the Minister of Forest and his staff while I was there. On the 10th, we had coffee with a cop here in council chambers. Our Sergeant Hughes is leaving the community pretty quick, so he was looking for a place to have his coffee with a cop, and I said, why don't we just do it at Town Hall? And Save On Foods donated the coffee and the cookies, and the Legion donated the coffee maker, and we were able to hold it here, and Sergeant Hughes was able to say goodbye to some of the community members. His replacement will come soon as his house sells and he can move here. The replacement will be coming from Montreal, so might be a bit of a culture shock for him. What else did we do? We had yesterday we had a the healthcare steering committee meeting with Interior Health. Things are moving forward up there. We have a full complement of doctors still, 6, which is better than most communities, so thank you to our doctors for keeping that going. And I attended the grand opening of the Princeton Fire Smart headquarters down at where the old crisis assistance was. Friday, I will be going to Kelowna to a mayor's caucus of the mayors of the Okanagan regional districts. So that should be an interesting gathering. It's first time, as far as any of us know, that we've done it that way. So that should be a good day. That's all I got to report. Yep.
What is the status lately of stumpage and that when you went to the Kofi meeting in terms of is industry happy with what's going on, or?
No, stumpage is, it's not so much stumpage is the problem right now, it's availability of fiber and getting that fiber and getting the licenses to access fiber. Stumpage has kind of worked itself out from, it's not where it was before, but it's working itself out, I should say. But the big thing right now is getting licenses approved. The minister and the premier both said that they understand that they need to turn around licenses faster. We are operating on a 7-month period right now, so there's no long-term planning in the industry right now, because you can only get, that's as fast as they can process things. So that's a big uncertainty, and that's causing a lot of fear in the market, I guess you could say.
As far as quota, were the conversations in terms of the effect of fires in the past year and what's happening this year as far as sustainability is concerned?
Yeah, so I sat in, when we were at Kofi up in Prince George, I sat in with a meeting with the Premier and Minister of Forest with Weyerhaeuser. And that was the one thing that Norm really wanted the Premier and the Minister to understand is the availability and the viability, I guess is more important, of that burned wood needs to come to the market sooner. It's taking a long time for it to come to the market, and when it takes too long, you only have like a year and a half roughly before that wood's no good. And that's what's happened in other places like Rock Creek and that, where a lot of that's going for pulp now instead of saw log. But if it can make it to market faster, then we can get saw log out of it. And if there's saw log, then there's some money to be made off of it. Which is important also, because if it's logged, then it has to be replanted. Whereas if it doesn't get logged, there's no replant. So for regen, it's important that we are able to log that that burned wood. So that was a conversation the Premier, I think, was paying attention. He wrote some notes down, and he seemed interested in furthering that conversation down the road. So that's good. But
So if it's logged soon enough,
it's viable.
is it equal to normally logged wood?
Not quite as equal, but it is viable.
Close.
Yeah. So, like right now, Princeton is sawing timber from the north coast. It's coming down to the lower mainland, put on trucks, trucked up here. We're taking it out of and then sawing it here to keep the mill going right now.
For,
I think it's everything.
oh,
So, yeah, I have to commend Norm on keeping wood coming into that mill. So, okay, we have correspondence receive and file. It's the. Are we doing two different ones here? Okay. One is the Headley 125-year celebration, request for sponsorship. And that's a receive and file, and then, so, thank you.
Second.
Klein, Willis, all in favor? Carried. And then the correspondence action requested is that the Headley 125-year celebration invitation for Mayor, just me? I'm going to extend that to Mayor and Council to attend the 125-year celebration of Headley on June 17th at 9:30 in the morning. And that,
I'll
if
make the
available,
motion.
we'll
I'll
make
make
it.
the motion as it reads.
I'll second that.
As available. Thanks, guys. All in favor?
Apparently, it was a great time last year. People that friends that came up from the coast and went to there and then stopped in, said it
In Headley, yeah.
was a hoot.
And then the last one is South Okanagan Similkameen Pride Society requests council proclaim publicly and acknowledge that June 2023 as Pride Month in the town of Princeton, and that the town of Princeton proclaim. Oh, that's the same thing. Sorry, I'm reading it twice. It's been a long day.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Willis. Councilor McLean is seconding. Comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank
So
you.
Obviously, it wasn't the Headley 125th last year. What was it? Because they had
They have a
people
cel.
went down for it and said it was a big deal.
Yeah, what was last year?
Headley Days or something?
Yeah, I think it was just their regular Headley days.
Oh.
I don't know if that's what they call it, but that used to be quite the fun thing. Like they used to have the outhouse races and all that, and that was I had to cover that when I worked for the newspaper, and they sent me down there for the day, and it was all day long. There was stuff going on in Headley. It was hard to believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, real community spirit down there. So, there's nothing else. So motion to adjourn. Thank you, Councilor McLean, Councilor Willis. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Goodbye, Internet land.